one more day until we hit 2019. So the main thing that I want to address going into 2019 is understanding what marketing is online and the best way to approach it, okay? Because I think we just all have a very, just kind of a unrealistic expectation for what we're supposed to be doing online. We just haven't defined it properly. So if we don't know what it is, we can't approach it properly and use it correctly in order to get the result that we want. Okay, so let's start with that. So I wrote down a few notes here. And I just want to cover this with you. Okay, the first thing that I want to make everyone understand is that Facebook and Instagram or LinkedIn or all of these different sources that are out there, this is what we call social media. Okay, well, what does social media mean, right? So the first question you have to ask yourself is, how social have you actually been on social media? Okay, because social media is not like a vending machine where you go and put $1 in and it gives you a snack at the end, right? But that's how we're all using it. Or not, I don't want to say we're all using it. That's how most people are seeing it that way. So when somebody says to me, Bill, you know, Facebook and Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever it is, they're just not working for me. Okay, the first thing that tells me is that they have no idea what the definition of social media is. So they're trying to use the platform that's meant to where you engage with people, right? And put valuable content out and engage in conversation, right? But they're trying to use it almost like a glorified magazine ad, right? Almost like a magazine ad, except for it's online, right? They want to do it the easy way. They just want to slap something up there, kind of like if you were driving by on a freeway and you put something up on a billboard and somebody was just magically supposed to, because you put in $1, you feel that somebody is supposed to all of a sudden be excited about what you put up there and they're supposed to take an action and buy your stuff, right? So here's the thing. That's not what social media is for. And by definition, if you really think about that word social media, you have to ask yourself, well, how social have I been? Or am I just misusing it? Am I doing it the wrong way? Now, granted, I will say this. There are certain numbers that hold true, okay? You can, by default, just throw money out there and somebody will do it. I can't deny that. That will happen. And you need to understand and you need to know those numbers when it comes to ad spend, because the way that you set this up is it will get you to level 1, if you will, like tier 1 level. But if you really want to do well with this, you have to start doing something very different, and you have to using these platforms for what they're meant to be, and that is to be social, right? There is no shortcut. There is no, hey, let me just throw something up and get it out of my way because I'm busy, I've got other things to do. This is your other thing to do, okay? When you're running a business, the number one thing that must happen is you must have new blood, right? You must have new life coming in the door. And whether you like it or not, that's what you signed up for when you open up a business, right? You can't just do the fun part of it or the part that you might like to do. You have to do that other part of it. So the whole thing that I'm trying to do for you is make this easier, not to make it harder for you. Okay, I'm trying to make it easier for you. So how am I trying to make it easier for you? Well, the whole idea behind ClickFunnels, especially with the auto webinar funnel, is all I'm trying to do is create a situation where you're developing yourself as the attractive character online, which means being social, right? You need people to identify with you. You need somebody to want to follow your story and to be interesting enough to where they actually want to engage with you. All right, so the storyline makes a big difference, right? You have to capture somebody's attention and you have to stand out from the crowd. One of the issues that we run into with all businesses is that everybody's doing the exact same thing. You're basically just a commodity, right? You're just a commodity. Nobody knows the difference between you and the next business down the street from you, because everybody's doing it the same way. They're just throwing an ad up, right? And this guy's throwing an ad up, and this gal's throwing an ad up, and you're all doing the same thing. That's called being in the red ocean. That's where all the sharks are together. They're all fighting over the same business, and they're biting each other, and there's blood all over the place. That's called the red ocean, right? So your job is in all that traffic and noise online is to be different than those people, to make yourself stand out, and you create the blue ocean. That's where you can swim around and everything is great because nobody else can compete with you when it comes to your story about who you are and what you have to offer. Nobody can duplicate you. That's for sure. Okay. But the average person that you are interrupting online with Facebook or Instagram or whatever, they don't know that. They don't know who you are or why you're special or what makes your product or your service or whatever it is that you're trying to do. They don't know what it is because you haven't told them. And it's 100% your fault because you're not using that platform correctly. So I've told this story a million times now, but when you go back and you look at any infomercial, right? There are a million products just like the same products that you see on an infomercial. There's the same service that you see on an infomercial, but people buy them because they have taken the time to tell their story, and they have the attractive character, or they have a spokesperson that does a really great job at building value around the thing, right? So it concerns me a little bit because I have, people say to me, well, I'm busy. I just don't have time to do all this stuff. And it just makes me scratch my head for a minute and say, geez, you know what? Then you really have to think about whether or not you should be running a business or not, right? Or whether maybe you should be, either reworking your business if you don't have time to worry about new customers coming in the door as a main priority, or maybe it's just not cut out for you. I mean, that could be. This is not an easy. Running a business is not an easy thing. I don't have to tell any of you guys that. But what I will say is that I think that as you start to understand what I mean by social, I'm going to cover these things today. It will dramatically make a difference in how business is done and in the success rate that you get. So at this point, when somebody says to me, well, Bill, Facebook doesn't work, right? I really have to go back and I have to say, listen, I think you don't understand the definition, because if I look at your actual activity online, you haven't been social at all. So it's not that Facebook doesn't work, it's just you don't know how to use it, right? You're not using the weapon correctly, and that's not the weapon's fault, that's your misunderstanding, right? So that has to be corrected very, very quickly, okay, into 2019, if you expect to see a different result than you got in 2018. And it really does take some time to sit and just sit and think about that for a minute, okay? So again, social media is where you're going to develop your attractive character and you're going to engage with people, right? You're going to give them a reason to be interested in you. Now, sometimes when you run an ad, I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but you run an ad and it'll give you a relevance score. And usually if you just post an ad that says, here's my special, whatever, your relevance score, if you're lucky, is 2 or 3. That's Facebook screaming at you saying, you're not being social. This isn't interesting. Nobody cares. This is not what this is for. People don't come on Facebook to just be interrupted by your ads. It's like watching a television show and be constantly interrupted by commercials the whole time. It's annoying, right? That's not why people are there. So if you want to catch somebody's attention and you want somebody to start to listen to you and follow you, you have to do something that's interesting. So when you're shaping all of this stuff, you have to start telling a story. So one of the ads that I just ran for myself was about my son, right? About my son Billy, about him graduating high school and getting to learn, having an unfair advantage by having his dad start to share things with him that were going to help him get off to a successful start. That ad had a relevant score of 10, okay? That has a score of 10. I got so much action out of that post. And I used real pictures. I didn't use generic pictures. I used pictures of him. I used pictures of me. And I had people comment on it. I had people like it. I had people to share it. I had people opt in to learn more. So here's the thing. If I am thinking the way other people think, I'm going, man, somebody clicked on my ad, but they didn't pay me anything up front, right? Well, that's that this level thinking, right? We have to get to this level thinking. You say, okay, well, what do I need to do with this, right? If this is social media and I need to be social, what do I need to do? Well, I need to engage with these people. If somebody likes my post, if they took the time to like my post, right? If they like me once, they'll probably like something else that I do. So shouldn't I then thank them for liking my page? or liking my post? Or shouldn't I, if they like it, right, I can go in and I can look to see who liked it. Shouldn't I be inviting those people that liked my post to also like my page? Well, why do I want to do that? Because if I can get them, if they like my post, and then I go in and I look at the number of, and I see all the people that like the post, right next to it, right next to it, it'll say invite. That means invite the person to like your page. Well, if you can just keep collecting people that liked your post to like your page, now you've got a target right, that you can now direct your ads towards people that already like you, right? I don't want to direct people to people that don't like you. I want to direct people that already like something that you have to say. So if they're going to like you once, they'll probably like something you have to say again. And you might have to put out a few things in order for them to start to follow you, right, as the attractive character. They want to see what you're up to, and they're not going to buy on the first try, but if you stay with them, they're going to start engaging with you. The same things. If somebody shares your post, thank them. Hey, thank you for sharing my post. Invite them to like your page, right? Now, all that being said, there are going to be people that are going to opt in to your link. And there's a lot of different ways that we can do this, right? But the main thing is we want to take the person from liking something that we do to taking a specific action. So what I did in particular was I wanted them to see my presentation that was called Insider Secrets, right? MyInsiderSecrets.com was the presentation I wanted them to see. So if somebody liked something or something, shared something or whatever they did, I would say to them, hey, John, thanks so much for liking my post. I wanted to make sure that I got this link to you so you could check it out. Okay? Now, not everybody is going to open that and go to it, but guess what? People did. And that's what being engaging is, right? I engaged with a person, right? Because they liked it, I was able to then post back, right? Or post something to them or message them something and then send them the link so they could see who I was. So when you think about your business, your job is to make sure that you get your commercial, if you will, in front of those people. You are the person who knows your business better than anybody else and who's the most enthusiastic about it. This is why it drives me crazy when I see all this stuff online about, which website should I get and SEO this and SEO that. Guys, seriously, if you're waiting for somebody to come and visit your website, and when they get there, you're expecting them to all of a sudden be so excited about the fact that they get to click or they get to enter their information to learn more. Come on. I mean, if I just told the story, right, about going shopping for my wife, right, for Christmas. Seriously, the website is like me walking into the mall and wandering around the store, right? I go into Saks Fifth Avenue and I'm looking around the store, right? Can't those people see what I'm doing, right? I'm shopping. I'm trying to find something. And there's nobody there to help me. I just wander into the store and I'm looking around, right? Nobody helps me. What the hell is that, right? That is what most of us are doing. We're expecting somebody to wander into our site and they're going to look around at it and there's nobody there that really helps them, that directs them to help get us to where we want to go. So I don't want to bet my family's livelihood or my livelihood or how I can provide for my family by hoping that somebody's going to come visit my site and just be excited enough about the fact that they get to put their email in to get more information in order for me to be successful and feed my family. That's craziness, right? That's not what, if you're a modern day hunter, you certainly wouldn't do that. I mean, that is just crazy. That's just, hey, that's like, I told this to Ryan Bausch the other day because he likes to hunt. I said, that's like waiting for the deer to come to your door and say, here I am, come and get me, right? I'm right here for you, right? That's not the way things work. So what we have to do instead is we have to understand how we're going to engage and start to put those things out. I don't want to say set the trap, but since I was talking about hunting, I'll kind of use that thing. But we have to engage with those people. So anytime we write something interesting about yourself, right? Tell your story a lot, and then get people to start to follow you. And then once they start engaging with you, now you can share where you want to take them, right? You need to lead them through the process because they don't know what the process is. You have to lead them through the process to help them make the decision, right? So when I went into the store to shop for my wife, I was desperately looking for somebody to come over and say, you know, hey, sir, how can I help you, right? Let me help you through the process. And I might even say to them, I don't even know what I want yet. Well, that's okay, right? Let me explain a little bit about who we are, what we do, what we have available, and then you start to lead them through the process, right? This is really what we're looking at. All right, so now let's go into, I kind of going a little bit overboard with this. I know I said I was going to take the first 15 minutes, but I really wanted to make sure I hit this with you guys to make sure. So how do I start engaging with people? All right. So there's three ways right now that you can do this. And I'm going to show you, a website link that I created for myself, and it's working really, really well. Okay. And all I want you to do is I want you to think about what it is that makes you special. And you're going to start creating your story around that. And that is the kind of things that you're going to post. It could either be about you, it could be about one of your customers, clients, members. It could be about anything like that, right? Something that's of interest, a story, right? You're going to tell a story about something, and you want to engage the reader, right? And the picture that you put, the picture that you need to put is got to be a regular picture, like an everyday picture, something that's going to catch somebody's eye that is meant for social media, right? It's all about people. This is what it is. Traffic is not a number. Traffic are people that you're trying to connect with, your ideal customer. That's who you're trying to, deal with. So you're going to think about what kind of story you can tell about you, what makes you special, or what you like to geek out on, if you will. People that are like you will engage with you, right? Because you have that thing in common. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pick a way to get your message out there. And I want you to write this down, and this should be on your computer. This year, 2019, you need to publish your face off. Okay? Publish your face off. That means every day you should be putting something out there that is interesting, something that is engaging, something that people would be interested enough to maybe share, right? A great story, something inspirational, something useful, some kind of information. Matter of fact, I just saw a post, and this guy was talking about the how to edit any picture to make it attractive on Facebook. And that was useful. Like, that was something I was like, oh, this guy's pretty good. I like this guy. I'm going to follow this guy, right? So that was kind of an example. But then what you're going to do is you're going to decide on what way that you are best at communicating. So if you're a good writer, okay, maybe you're a little introverted, you don't really like to talk, you don't want to be on a video, you don't want to just, you want to write. Okay, that's fine. Well, then write, okay? Use a blog, right? Post something online, and then what you're going to do is you're going to tell a great story that somehow ends up linking back to what you do, right? Because your thing, you should be able to look somebody dead in the eye and say, this thing, if you do this thing, right, or if you buy this thing, this will change your life. I 100% totally believe that this will do this thing. So you're going to write your whole story, relate it back to what you do, and hyperlink it back to your commercial. Okay. Now, for those of you guys who may be a couple steps behind, the commercial format, I already did it for you, right? I did all the hard work. All you have to do is basically stick in your own video, edit a couple lines here and there, and you're up and running. It's good to go, okay? I had a little bit of a glitch. I see Tim's on the line, Tim Scott. I made when I translated it over and was doing some work on his thing, I just did something really stupid, and I put something in there that needed to be fixed. That wasn't his problem, but other than that, he did an awesome job. I mean, his looked great, right? His looks phenomenal. So if I was to go to his Facebook ad before and look at his business, I'd be like, okay, well, there's a lot of these, right? There's a lot of these kind of things that other people offer too. this doesn't really tell me anything, and I might keep scrolling and keep looking, right? But because of the way his presentation is now, it's like, oh, I can see myself doing that, right? I could see my wife doing that. His was for a fitness challenge, right? So I could see that these look like people I want to hang out with, or people that I would enjoy. This doesn't look like the kind of, this looks like the kind of atmosphere I would enjoy. And it's because he took the time to build this thing out. It looks awesome. It really does. So I'm excited to see, how he does with that. But the thing is that thing's going to work for him all the time. Right? So if he's got something to do with his kids, or it's the middle of the night, or he wants to go on vacation, or whatever it is, he's good. That thing's going to just churn and work and work and work and work for him. Okay? So back to those steps. If you're a writer, write a blog, post it on Facebook. There's a website called medium.com. Okay, medium.com, just like, small, medium, large, and that's a good place you can start a blog. And then being social, if you're sharing something of value, you can then link that into groups, and you link it to groups in your community or in your industry, right? For people that are the kind of people that you're looking for, right? And you need to know who that is. You need to know what kind of person you're looking for exactly. You need to, if you can take a picture and take a photograph, you should be able to show me a picture of your ideal person, exactly who they are, what they look like. That's who you want, right? This is who you are. So now you have to think about, okay, well, where do these people hang out? What kind of groups do they belong to? What kind of pages might they frequent online? This is where I need to put my blog message, because if I put this blog message there, people are going to engage with it. They're going to read it. And then if I can link back to something, then I'm using social media the right way. If you try to do the same thing and just do a billboard ad, that group will kick you out of the group, or they won't allow it, because you're not using the platform for what it's supposed to be used for, and that's annoying, right? Now, what if you like to talk? Well, one of the things that I started using was a podcast. And a podcast, I was a little bit nervous about doing a podcast at first, because I'm like, what's that got to do with me? How am I going to reach people on a podcast? How do you even find podcasts? It just didn't make any sense to me. But there's an app on my phone. It's called Anchor. Okay, Anchor.com, and it's so easy to use. It's ridiculously easy to use. And I'm not a tech wizard, believe me. Okay, and all it does is it allows me to do what I'm doing now and just talk. Right. So when I talk and I post that, I can share it right from the app right to Facebook. And it's crazy, because I have people that are now messaging me saying, wow, I really like your podcast. And they'll start asking me questions. It's crazy, right? And I don't know who they are, but you start to see, you get this following, and people start to listen to what you have to say. So what I did is I decided to create a funnel, and the funnel actually invites people to give me their email address so I can notify them when the next episode is available, okay? Which is really cool, because the whole point in organic marketing is to build your list. Why do we want to build a list? Because the bigger our email list is, the better the chance we have at nurturing the relationship and staying in front of somebody, and it doesn't cost us more money in ad spend, okay? So if I need to shout out into my industry or into my community, and I need to put my message out there, I need to tell people who I am all the time, stay in front of people all the time. If I like to write, I can use a blog. If I like to talk, I can use a podcast. I can even invite people in my community to be a guest on my podcast, which is super fun, right? You can do that. And if you reach out to the influencers within your community or within your industry, a lot of doors start to open up for you, right? If you invite people into your podcast, okay? Now, cool thing is, if you like to write, you can blog. If you like to talk, you can podcast. And then if you like video, there's so many choices, right? You could do YouTube, you can do Facebook Lives, you can do Instagram stories. There's so many different options you can do to get on there and present yourself on video. And the same thing, if you do your podcast, you talk about whatever the topic is that relates to your business, and then you drop the name of your URL, right? So I'll talk about marketing online, and I'll say, there's 3 marketing tips that you really need to know. Go to myinsidersecrets.com, and you can watch the presentation in full. Make sure you block off about 60 minutes and blah, blah, blah. So I mentioned it. Same thing on YouTube. I can talk about it. I can mention it. I can drop it in the description. So what you're doing is you're attacking from all these different angles. Now, if you want to do them all, you can if you're really ambitious. So what I do is, like, when I record a video, at the same time, I have my phone sitting here. So I'm doing the video, I'm talking to the video, and I'm recording the podcast at the same time. Then if I want to, I can literally take the YouTube video, right? And I can have it transcribed into a blog if I wanted to. There's a company called Rev.com, and they charge $1 per minute. So if the video is 5 minutes, it would cost you $5 to translate, or to put that into words and put it into a blog. So if you're really crazy, you can be like all over the place, and you're reaching out to hit your audience, right? So all of this stuff can be done organically. But the number one reason why this won't work for you is because if you don't understand the idea that in order for social media marketing to work, you need to be social, and be social in your own way. You don't have to be a crazy person, right? You don't have to be loud and obnoxious or super, you don't have to talk like this and be super motivated, right? You can talk to the audience that you want to talk to that best identifies with you. You can still be passionate without being crazy, right? But you need to be able to reach those people, all right? So what I'm going to suggest to you is this. This is kind of like a New Year's resolution, and please don't make it like a fitness resolution where you start it and then you stop it, because you won't get in shape, right? You won't get your business in shape if you stop it. Just pick one that you feel comfortable with, blog, podcast, YouTube, whatever it is, and just make the effort to consistently do something on a scheduled set basis. Literally put it in your calendar, right? Nobody can talk to you during that time. It doesn't even need to be once a day. It could be once a week. But block off that time and say, I am going to post something interesting, right? And I am going to be social for 2019, because I'm going to use the platform the right way, and I'm going to get people to start seeing me as the attractive character and start to build my following, start to build my tribe. And then I'm going to make a commitment to engage with those people. If somebody likes something, I'm going to be courteous and say, hey, thanks for liking this. Hey, I'm going to invite you to like my page, because if you like that, I probably got more stuff that you're going to like. And you're going to be committed to creating your commercial, right? I don't want you to be crazy, but I don't want you to be lazy. And unfortunately, a lot of that I see is everybody's so scrambled. They're so busy doing busy work that they haven't taken the time to build out their presentation. And that's just, I don't know what to say. I mean, if you're not willing to do that, you've got to really do some soul searching here, right? Do a checkup from the neck up, like Zig used to say. That should be priority number one right now, is for you to create a presentation so that every time somebody engages with you, you can give them that presentation, and it's the same consistent presentation every single time that you can count on day in and day out. I also want to make sure that you understand that you should not be expecting, right, tons and tons and tons of people to buy from you if you haven't earned it. If you just throw something up quick and easy, you shouldn't expect people to buy from you online yet. You just shouldn't, right? And that's the importance of that, of building that email list. And then you have to work your email list also, right? So if you're being social, you also need to provide great content through your email once a week, right? You put out some valuable content, because some people aren't ready to buy from you now, right? I had people buy from me during this Christmas break that had opted in quite some time ago. And because I was consistent with sending out content, valuable content, finally, these particular people went ahead and took action. So, you have to be, I know you have to be excited about the process, and you have to be patient with the process. And just like anything else, you don't become an expert at something overnight. You shouldn't expect instantaneous results overnight. But what you can count on is if you take consistent action, and if then you understand, if you do the core things that you need to do on social media, and you start to build your attractive character and you start to use it properly, now when you spend money on ads, now you're going to get the result that you want, because when people come to your page and they start looking at your stuff, they're going to be impressed by it. They're going to be like, wow, this is great content. I literally had a person, I have no idea who they are, see one of my ads, saw the post I put about my son, went to my page and then gave me this crazy endorsement like, this is one of the best pages I've ever seen. This is the truth. This is great content. Everybody should like this page. I was like, wow, this guy is awesome. Where are you? I'm going to send you something. I'm going to send you a present. But that's what has to happen. So you have to do the work beforehand to earn the kind of success that you're looking for. Okay. So let me show you really quickly, and I will give this to you absolutely free. You can use this because I want you to do really well in 2019. So let me just show you, let me pull this up, and I'm going to show you what I did here. Okay. This is, if you go to billstorm.com right now, this is what you're now going to see. Okay. And what it is it basically gives somebody an option to subscribe to receive my weekly marketing tips and insider secrets. Okay, so you can see I just used the regular picture. This was me speaking on stage, right? So, but it's just a regular picture of me. I didn't jazz it up or anything. It just is what it is. Okay. Then down here, look what I did. Any way that somebody can connect with me socially, because not everybody connects the same way. So if somebody wants to listen to my podcast, they can click there and they can subscribe to my podcast, or they can actually listen to my podcast. If they want to visit my YouTube channel, they click here, Facebook, Instagram. If they want to get my insider secrets, which takes them to my webinar presentation, they can go there. They can connect with me on LinkedIn, right? So there's these things. And then below, I even gave them a directive that if they had a question that they wanted to ask me, I gave them instructions on how they could do it, where they could literally leave me a voice message and I'd give them a shout out and answer their question on an upcoming episode. So you can literally take this funnel that I created, and all you need to do, right? I did the work for you. All you need to do is go in and put the links to your podcast, your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, your whatever, or LinkedIn. And if you don't want any of them, you can take them out. So if you just want to focus on just one, you can do it. And that's basically it. You write a great story, right? I liken this to like Reader's Digest in a lot of ways, right? You post something really cool, you put a video that has valuable content, somebody watches it, somebody reads it, somebody listens to it, they like what you have to say, they now see you as the attractive character, they want to learn more, and you say, hey, if you'd like to learn more about us, click here, and then they click there. And when they click to subscribe to hear more of you, you now have their email address, and from there, now you can build a relationship and you can add more value, and now you can start dropping, your soft offers and things like that to get them involved in your program. So building your list is really is seriously everything. Your main thing right now for 2019 should be to create an amazing commercial and just publish your face off. If you can get those two things, and you say, if I don't do anything else in 2019, if I just create a great commercial to tell people my story and just publish my face off to get them there, you'll have done a great job. I mean, that's really what it's all about. All right, so let's do this. At this point, I am going to I'll end this. Let me just go ahead. I'm going to just end this recording part right here, and then I'm going to open up for Q&A, okay?